What's up guys, John Bird III here. We're back again for another video. And in today's video, we're going to talk about a reel that I think a lot of people get a little bit misconstrued on. And I think their thought process behind using this reel for a particular technique isn't 100% dialed in. And so we're going to talk about that today. But before we get into that, comment down below what type of videos that you want to see from this channel. What type of techniques that you want to hear me talk about. What lures, rods, and reels that you want to hear me talk about, so we can make sure we bring those videos to life. So make sure you leave a comment down below. If you're new to the channel, thanks for watching, and make sure you hit that subscribe button and notification bell, because we will be changing up the days as to when we're going to start pushing out our videos. But without no further ado, today's video, we're going to talk about the BB1 Pro. I think a lot of people get this reel mixed up simply because of maybe the way that their thought process went about it. And a lot of people get this reel a little bit misconstrued. I'll just be honest. When I got it, my thought process was all about crankbait, 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 crankbait. And that is right, but to a certain extent. And I'm going to tell you why. This reel shines best with heavier baits. And when I say heavier baits, we're talking 5XDs, 6XDs, 8XDs, 10XDs. If you want to throw like a big football jig, anything like heavy, that is where this reel shines. So when I first bought this reel, I was throwing like a chick magnet, a KVD 1.5, and because everybody talked about this reel as crankbait, crankbait, crankbait. And what I found is that is not the truth. Because when people think crankbait, they don't necessarily say what specific type of crankbait. And the BB1 Pro with the very, very deep spool, this reel has a whole lot of line. And so now and thinking about it, it's like, oh yeah, deep crankbait, not just any crankbait. Because if you try to throw a 1.5 or a chick magnet on this reel, you're going to backlash. I mean, I can dial in my stuff really, really to the T, but once you try to dial in a KVD 1.5 or a chick magnet to this reel, you're not going to get the optimal performance of this reel because you're not going to be able to make those long casts. But if you tie on a 5XD, a 6XD, 8XD, 10XD, half-ounce football jig, 3/4-ounce football jig, 1-ounce football jig, something big and heavy and bulky, you make a long cast with this, that is where you're going to get the optimal performance for this reel. Now, again, I played around with a lot of different things. Hackney, I've seen Hackney throw swim jigs with this reel. And so this reel, because of the deep spool and the amount of line that it holds, it just fits better when you're talking about bigger, heavier baits. And so one of my favorite features that I like about this reel is the knobs. I can hold on to the knobs of this reel very easy. And to be honest, this reel is kind of bulky. It's kind of big in my opinion. And I tend to like smaller reels. So when I say smaller reels, I'm talking about like the custom light shallow spool. Anything with this small frame like that, I just like a smaller frame reel these days because I can palm them a lot better. It feels better in my hand. So this reel feels big. And so you can also, one thing you can do with this reel, you can throw an Alabama rig with this thing. So anything big, even like a swim bait, you can put swim baits on this thing. And one thing I've heard this mentioned before, and maybe it's just me, and I didn't realize that, but I have seen a guy comment on a post, on a loose post, asking about it might have been matter of fact, it was about the custom light shallow spool and does it have the click and drag. When I read the comment and I seen the response, I thought he was talking about this drag star. But then it hit me later after catching a pretty decent fish on this reel. This reel actually has a clicking drag, and he's talking about, that guy was talking about the drag when they pull the line, when they're pulling the line, right? And that fish starts digging, and so you back off your drag. So this reel actually has a clicking drag, whereas the custom light shallow spool doesn't. And I think the reason the guy asked the question about the custom light shallow spool and the drag on that reel, and is it clicking, I guess you could say, it's because a lot of other BFS reels have that clicking drag. And in my mind, personally, I'm like, what do you need a clicking drag for on a bait caster? It's not like you counting the clicks to see how many clicks he pulled when the fish is just digging down. So I'm like, what do you need a clicking drag for? I think clicking drag, spinning reels, not necessarily bait casters. But one feature that you don't hear a lot of people talk about in this reel, that it does have the clicking drag. So, I mean, I think it's pretty cool, but I ain't listening for no click and drag. Let's see here to hear how many clicks the drag is. The fish is pulling off the drag, so it's kind of like, it is what it is. Anyway, so normally I pair this reel up with my 8XD rod. So, because on my 8XD rod, if you go back and watch my deep diving crankbait setup video, I throw 5XDs, 6XDs, and 8XDs on 8XD rod. And so that is normally what this reel is paired on, that particular rod. I don't really put this reel on any other thing, and the only time I actually have it rigged up is for when I'm throwing big crankbaits, point blank period. So if you're looking for a deep crankbait reel that will get the job done, that is a workhorse, try the BB1 Pro, because it is a great reel to fish with, but I think you just have to keep things in perspective. It is a reel for bigger baits, and not only that, long cast. So anything that has some weight and anything you have to make a long cast, that's where this reel fits. But not a 1.5, not maybe a 2.5, but I would say stay away from that. So not a 1.5, not a 2.5, not a chick magnet, definitely not a chick magnet junior, anything like that. So big baits. Gravel dog might work on this, but the gravel dog is sometimes a little bit hard to throw unless you got the right rod to load that bait when you're trying to throw it. But again, big baits. That's what this reel is designed for, bigger baits. But I think a lot of people just think small, little baits. So again, keep that in mind when you're trying to look at getting the BB1 Pro. It is a great reel to fish with, and it's a great reel to have in your arsenal. But keep that in mind when you're trying to buy this reel, because every reel has a sweet spot. I don't care what the brand is, it does not matter. Just like every rod has a sweet spot for the weight of the bait that's on the rod, every reel has a sweet spot also. You will see, like, there are some reels like the Gen 2 Custom Pro, where these are on sale right now. So if you get your hands on the Gen 2 Custom Pro, buy it. I'm telling you, it's a freaking killer reel. But this reel has a sweet spot to where you can throw really lightweight setups. Like, I love this reel for a light Texas rig. So 3/16 ounce weight, finesse worm, Strike King finesse worm, and I always peg it, but it will bomb cast that. But then as you go up in weight, so you start throwing like a 3/8 ounce bladed jig or a 1/2 ounce bladed jig, a 1/2 ounce jig, if you start flipping or whatever, when you start throwing those bigger baits and you're talking about skipping, my God, this thing is so much fun to fish with. So always try to find the sweet spot for your reels, because when you find that sweet spot for your reel, you will find that you won't have to have as many brakes on. You can find that you can set that gas pedal just right, and your backlashes are minimum. One thing I didn't mention when talking about the braking system, now that I mentioned that, this reel doesn't have the pins that you have to turn on. So this is one of those reels that I consider simplistic. You're just your gas pedal, you're just your brake pedal, and you're good to go. So great reel. Make sure you go check one of these out if you're looking for a great reel for anything big baits. Again, 5XD, 6XD, 8XD, 10XD, 1/2 ounce jigs, big football jigs, swim jigs, anything you gotta make a long cast. I've even seen people throw a frog on this reel. So if you got a big massive grass flat like on Gunnersville or wherever Heavy Hitters was this year, was that in Florida? I think, I don't remember. But anyway, making a long bomb cast, this is a great reel also, because again, for the line capacity, it holds a lot of line, like a lot of line. If I backlash this bad boy and I blow it up, I'm gonna be mad. And I have before, because golly, it takes up so much line. But again, when you think about long distance, long casting, anything you gotta do with that, this is the way to go. But make sure it has some weight to it. So that's it for today's video. Again, if you have any video that you want me to cover, any topic you want me to cover, make sure you leave that down in the description. If any loose product or striking product you want me here to talk about, make sure you leave that down in the comment section. I said description just a few seconds ago, but anyway, leave it down in the comment section. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I'm JB3. I got to get back living the dream. I'm going to the swamp tomorrow, try to go catch some fish. So I'll catch you later.